Today we're going to be talking about Shield of Baal Exterminatus, which I mentioned in a recent video I was really excited to see, and the reasons for that, if I did not state them then, were because the tactical objectives, the warlord traits, and the relics of Baal all indicated that they still did want the Blood Angels to get, up close and personal with the opponent and dominate them in the short range shooting and the assault. And Exterminatus really reinforces that playstyle. There are two different detachments you can take. One is the Archangels, which is the Blood Angels' first company, and then the other one is a Flesh Terrors detachment, which is going to make a lot of people that picked up the Blood Angels in 5th edition very happy. Both of them have their own warlord traits tables. They both have a couple relics of their own, and they kind of have an anti-tyrannid twist to them. For instance, there's one that is extra armor for a dreadnought that the Flesh Tearers can take, but also gives you extra defense against Tyrannid bioplasma cannons, or venom cannon weapons. So it's not going to be universally applicable, but it is a campaign book, and even so, it is pretty cool. There's essentially no reason not to take that over extra armor because they cost the same number of points. So hooray for that. Get to screw over Tyranids a little bit, which I'm sure that any Tyrannid player, or maybe any non-Blood Angels player, will probably get a little mad about, but it helps me, so I'm not gonna complain. The detachments, or the formations themselves, the Archangel Strike Force is all Terminators or Veterans. You don't get Death Company, you don't get Tacticals, you don't get any Sanguinary Guard, anything like that. You can take up to 16 Elite choices with a minimum of 2, and up to 2 HQ with a minimum of 1. The only HQ you're allowed to take are a Captain or Captain Carlan, since he is, according to the fluff, the Captain of the Archangels, Chaplain or a Librarian, with the caveat that they must wear Terminator armor. You can take up to 10 infantry squads that are made up of either a veteran squad of some type or a Terminator squad of some type, and you can take up to 6 Furiosa dreadnoughts. The really cool thing about this detachment is they have the Storm of Angels rule, which is Descent of Angels except for everything. It's not just skimmers and jump infantry. It's anything that comes in from deep strike. So your Terminators, if they're teleporting in, they get to reroll their failed reserve rolls. They scatter only 1d6 instead of 2d6. All that good stuff. Same thing goes with drop pods. So that's not going to ruin anything for the drop pods. It's not going to be as helpful, but it's also going to make them more consistent in where they land. So they're not going to scatter 12 inches off target and, still be fine, because that's what they do. Instead, they're going to, fall much closer to where you want them to be. The formations themselves are all very cool, really reinforce an assault-oriented army. A lot of them have the Storm of Angels special rule or some other special rule that allows them to come in very early from reserves. The ones with the Storm Ravens in them in particular usually come in on turn 1. One that really stands out just kind of as a fun group to use, it would be incredibly expensive, and it would have to be the focus of your army. You'd build your army around this formation, is Strike Force Mortalis, which is all Death Company. The formation itself is 1 Chaplain, 3 Death Company squads, 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts, and a Storm Raven. And the big thing about this is that they all gain Crusader, which is something that the Death Company would really love to have all the time. But the biggest thing they love even more, they get a special rule called Fury of the Forlorn. And what this does is they get +1 attack if they do not have Rampage on the turn they if they are fighting a squad that outnumbers them. So this is not going to be uncommon, given Death Company squads are not necessarily going to be very large, and you're free to take them in squads of 5 if you so choose. So you get a light version of Rampage with your Death Company, which the Death Company already have 2 attack space. If you're going to be fielding them with a close combat weapon or a power weapon and a pistol, they're going up to 3. On a charge, their rage is going to kick in and they're going to have 5, and the Sphere of the Forlorn is going to give them 6 with reasonable regularity. So they're going to essentially be just a giant blender in the assault phase. And with the Storm Raven there just kind of thrown in there to help bring in the Dreadnought, or one of the Dreadnoughts anyway, or one of the squads faster. It's really going to be, if not a real game-changing formation, at least a very fun formation to field. So that's one that I really like. There's another one that is Commander Dante's little personal host from the Fluff book, and it includes Dante, Mephiston, a Librarian, a Sanguinary Priest, a unit of Sanguinary Guard, 3 Storm Ravens, 1 Captain or Chaplain, a Command Squad if you take a Captain, 3 Tactical Squads, an Assault Squad, a Devastator Squad, a Dreadnought, and a Furiosa Dreadnought if you took the Chaplain. So it's essentially a full army all on its own. Without upgrades, I think I calculated it out to be, with full squad counts, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,250 points. But the reason you would take this, if you're playing a big game, if you considered 2,250 points up to 3,000 points a big game, they get the Red Thirst, and they also get Storm of Angels and Objective Secured. So it's going to be an incredibly versatile and powerful list if you choose to field it. Obviously very expensive, lots of models in there, lots of expensive models in there, but definitely would be a lot of fun to play. Moving on to the Flesh Tearers, they have slightly more aggressive warlord traits. One of them that I just really like, 2 of them actually. They also have the Rampage one, like the Blood Angels do. They also have one that gives your Warlord and any unit he's a part of Rage, and then there's another one that gives your Warlord Feel No Pain. So just kind of all personal, getting up there and pounding things faces in sort of Warlord traits. And I mentioned earlier that the Flesh Tearers Detachment is going to make a lot of old, 5th edition Blood Angels pickups very, very, very happy. And the reason for that is it has a compulsory of 1 HQ, 1 troop, and 1 fast attack. The big thing, though, is that the 6 troops that you normally have access to are reduced to 3 additional, down from 5, and you have a total of 5 bonus optional fast attack slots. So you can have up to 6 fast attack squads, which means that you can field your 6 assault squad army all in one detachment. What's more is that the command benefit that you get, other than the option to re-roll your Warlord trait if you choose to make the Flesh Terror Strike Force your primary detachment, is Explosion of Bloodlust, which is saying use jump infantry, because the way it works is if you get a charge range of 10 or more before modifiers, the squad that you're assaulting with gets rage for the duration of that assault phase. So this obviously, like I said, is saying use jump infantry. You're going to want them to move up from wherever it is they are going to be deployed, be it by a deep strike or if they're just going to hoof it, and use their jump packs in the assault phase to charge things and get a lot of bonus attacks. The Flesh Terror formations themselves are very similar to the Blood Angel formations, except they're even more close combat oriented. The Blood Angels ones are all about getting into combat from reserve quickly and being able to act extremely fast thereafter. for that. The Flesh Tearers formations are all about ignoring the normal penalties for the, say, disoriented charges. There's one that includes Terminators, Death Companies, Tactical Squads, Assault Squads, Furiosa Dreadnought, and they get Counterattack and Stubborn in addition to the stuff that they normally have. There's one where if you have a Vanguard Veteran Squad, all of the formation, which is 3 Tactical Squads, an Assault Squad, and a Furiosa Dreadnought, completely ignore penalties for a disordered charge. They also get the Red Thirst, so they really want to assault things. There's one that includes Gabriel Seth. That's a pretty good-sized formation. And then, like the Commander Dante formation, there's also Flesh Tear formation that essentially turns into a full army. Much of the army must come in from reserve, but that's not really going to be a problem because you're going to have a lot of things with jump packs on with this particular group. So all in all, very, very cool things for the Blood Angels / Flesh Tearers. None of this stuff is, I don't think any of it's going to be meta redefining, but it is going to be a ton of fun to use as a Blood Angels player, and it's going to make a lot of people that were very frustrated with the removal of assault squads as troop choices very happy. So all in all, I'm very, very pleased with this. So yeah, if you are a Blood Angels or Flesh Tearers fan, or you're thinking about picking up the army, I strongly suggest trying to find a copy of this and using this as well. If you are a Necron player, they give you some pretty cool stuff in here for Necrons, which shows maybe what they're kind of going to be gunning for with the Necrons. Their detachment is very, very troop heavy, with a compulsory of 1 HQ and 3 troops, with 5 more troops optional in addition to the regular Combined Arms Detachment options. And the cool thing about this is that you can reroll reanimation protocol rolls that land in 1s for troop choices. So you're going to have a lot more chances for your Necron warriors to get back up. Which I've never played as the Necrons personally, but it really annoys me when they stand back up. So I'm sure that Necron players absolutely love it when they do. So definitely going to be a great way to use the Necrons. The formations themselves are pretty cool. There's one with a Catan Shard and 2 Cryptex, and the attacks against the squad must use the Catan's toughness when rolling to wound, and the Catan also has Feel No Pain, and which is reduced as each Cryptech dies. But the really cool thing is that there is an item, a relic that a Cryptech can take that will increase the strength and toughness of a Catan Shard on your table by 1 each. So you could have one of those Cryptechs carrying that item to bolster that Catan to make that unit even more durable than it already is. So once again, probably not going to be a game changer, but a very cool, flavorful unit, probably going to be a lot of fun to field. So yeah, as with the Blood Angels and Flesh Tear stuff, the little bit of Necron love that's in this book looks really, really appealing, and I think that it's a great way for Warhammer 40k to move forward. I really hope to see more stuff like Exterminatus in the coming years, because if this is a good glimpse of what's to come, there's some very good things on the horizon. If you've got any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'll try to address them either in the comments, or maybe if there's something really good, if a conversation starts up, maybe I'll do a video about that next week. Until then, happy wargaming.